Have a seat. There we go. Just share this around wherever it needs to go. Here we are. Perfect. It's public. It's better be public. I don't know why every app is on private mode lately. It's kind of weird to me. Here we go. Perfect. Thanks for that info, Zoom. Put the invite link in here. All right, perfect. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Wake and Bake with Joey Blaze. We haven't really done one of these in a while. Been about a year exactly, though. Almost. It's been a bit. I used to do these on a regular back last fall as like recap shows. We were supposed to go live last night. However, I crashed at about 4 and then woke up at about 4. So didn't really get an opportunity to go live and do anything for last night's show. And with tonight being my dad's birthday, I'm not going to really be available to do one tonight. And I'd rather not do a show tomorrow night if I don't have to. So for those who were wondering what happened with last night's show, because I had talked to a few people about doing one, I ultimately ended up just falling asleep. Today, I finally have my first off day in 2 weeks, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm always working. So it's just nice to be working from home for once instead of working from a field or being at like some sort of place for my other job. So glad to see everybody. First thoughts I want to talk about real quick. Last weekend with Blick. Since the next Blunt Talk episode, let me turn that down. There we go. There we go. Have myself up. Since we are not really doing any more 8-man stuff for York for the rest of the year, for maybe a while. They might be doing a tournament later. We'll see. I'm not sure at the moment. I know nothing's on my calendar yet. But first, to talk about Blick, since we're going to be going back to 9-man for Blunt Talk tomorrow on Thursday night when we do come back. Awesome tournament. I had a wonderful time. I'm going to remember it to the best of my ability, recap wise. The first game out of the gate, and if anybody wants to join, I'm going to go ahead and pin that link in the comments. There's the link to join if you want to talk about anything this morning. Special morning edition, Wake and Bake here on Joey Blaze TBT. First game out the gate was Baez Auto and OG Raiders. 28-20 was the final on that one. Baez up early, ready to go. Raiders offense was very efficient. Really like what I saw out of that team. Very competitive matchup to start the day. Second game was Gang Green beating Vice City 20-14 in overtime. That's one of the things about double elimination is you have to go to overtime during an event of a tie. This was the first overtime and the only overtime of the weekend, I do believe. I wasn't there for losers bracket games and the final winners bracket on Saturday. But that was a very awesome competitive game. Gang Green went up 14-0 out the gate. Vice City rallied back. They fell just a little short in the end. Great start for Gang Green and what was an excellent championship run this weekend. The third game I recall was, I want to say Gusto Land beat Fuco by about a score or two. I don't really have much to say on that one. Gusto coming out, showing signs of life. They're ready to go for this weekend. They were hyped up. Blick's a big event for them. They were 2-time champion coming in. They get the win to start the morning on Fuco. Good start for them. Fourth game of the day. This is all mental recall to the best of my ability. I might even just pull up the bracket at this point on my end just to get a better recollection of it. it's hard to remember like every single match I did. Try to pull up and see if I get that photo of the bracket just for a little refresher on my end. There we go. Yeah, it was actually Kimi's All Stars and Wolverines. I was a third. Fuko Gusto was fourth. I just checked that. Kimi's beat Wolverines 24-8. Wolverines just not a good performance to start the tournament. Kimi's was very loaded with a lot of talent, so like a bit of a mismatch for Wolverines against a lot of guys who for play on the A circuit and 9-man and other styles as well. Wolverines put up the best fight, but just not enough in the end for Akimi's team that was very well stacked coming in. As mentioned, Gusto landed over Fuko. Ground Zero beat Wolfpack 15-12. That was one of the better games of the day. Very competitive back and forth matchup with those two. Ground Zero went up early, and then the Wolfpack got the lead late, only for Ground Zero to win in the end. Awesome competitive matchup with those two teams. We went on from then to the second round of the winners bracket. Baez Outlaws. This game was a little controversial for me. Baez led 12-0 at half, and Ray Wagner had to go. It seemed like they were coasting to a victory. Seemed like they had it in hand. They even started the second half off with a drive all the way down the field until a pick happened. Outlaws to drive down the field and score, and then an altercation happened, which led to a Baez player being disqualified. So as a result, Baez was disqualified for the game, and that set them behind the 8 ball the rest of the tournament. That was something that really, because this tournament, with the way it was designed, if you fell in the losers bracket, it was a gauntlet to even get back into the winners. Baez losing that sixth game of the day, very costly for them. They had to fall into there. And we had talked about it, in order to even win it, once you fall out, you had to win like 5, 6 in a row. So Baez taking a big loss to the Outlaws that, in my opinion, affected them a lot in this tournament. They had to play way more games in that losers bracket, not taking away anything from anybody. But that was something that was a turning point for that team. It hurt them a lot. Got to keep things cool, though. Got to keep it calm and keep it going. Unfortunately for Baez, they took an L there. Outlaws advancing to Sunday in that first game of the day for them. Shout out to them for at least getting there. Not the best circumstances I'd imagine you want to win, but you got to find a way you can, I guess, at some points. Next game after that was Gang Green over Shake and Bake. Gang Green getting the dub. Don't really see. It looks like it says 14-0 was the score there. Gang Green's defense was very, very good this weekend. They shut down Shake and Bake. Shake and Bake had nothing in it. Gang Green just methodically moved the ball, played excellent defense. Got to give credit to them for the tournament they had this weekend. More about them as we continue going down the line. And this bit of a recap. If anybody from Gang Green wants to call in, go ahead and click the Zoom link. We're going to be talking for a bit. Just going to be recapping this. Might talk some local stuff. We'll see. It depends how long I feel like talking. So Gang Green getting the win there. Last game I did was Gusto Land and Kimi's. Gusto getting the victory on Kimi's in that one. 13-7. Very competitive game. Tight bat matchup between two teams that came ready to play. This was arguably the most intense game of the day. Very physical matchup, very well played matchup. Liked this game a lot. Afterwards, I had to go. I was starting to feel that burnout I usually get on day one. It was a gauntlet. It was on me. I didn't plan it properly. And so like next time around, we're going to fix that, make it work, try to do everything we can to make sure we hit all the games. For the rest of the day, Ground Zero would beat ASAP World. Wolverines over Shake and Bake. Tough tournament for Shake and Bake. I believe no points scored and 0-2 on the margin. Very tough tournament. I think that puts them last in the end when you look at it. Wolverines over Fuko, 18-14, competitive matchup there. Before that, so Wolverines managed to get out Saturday despite putting themselves in an early hole. Baez over Wolfpack 21-15, another competitive game. Wolfpack, you gotta give them credit, despite the 0-2 record, both games were close and competitive. They stayed tight with a very good Baez and Ground Zero team. They had nothing to be really ashamed of. Just two very tough draws. OG Raiders, they got the win over ASAP World. I think it's 24-2. Dominant performance by the Raiders. Give credit to them. They had to sit for about 7 hours in between games, and before they finally got back on the field. They managed to bear through the heat, go through the day, got the win to advance to Sunday. And then in the last game, this is me looking down the bracket. This is not the actual order of games. It was Vice City over Kiami's All-Stars. So Vice City getting a win there. They knocked Kiami's out. If I were to rank these teams, the ones who were eliminated early on, last place, I'd probably put Shake and Bake 13th. They did not really have a good weekend. No points put up. Donutted both times, 0-2 and barbecue all the way. So I put them at the bottom of the list there. No offense to them, just not a good weekend. ASAP World, I'd probably put at 12th. They too did not have a good weekend. Nearly donutted back-to-back. Luckily, that safety kept it from the double donuts special. So they're going to sit there at 12th in my book. 11th, I'm going to have to go with Fuco. They had a tight game with Wolverines. The Gusto game wasn't very close, but they did at least try to compete with Wolverines. They had a tough road no matter what had they won that game. They were looking at least having to go through 8 elimination games before even winning it all. They were close in the second game. Did a little bit better than how ASAP and Shake and Bake fared, in my opinion. Number 10, I'm going to go with Kiami's All-Stars. That was actually, I had to go with Wolfpack. Kiami's at least got a win. Wolfpack had a very, very tough draw with Baez in ground zero. No disrespect to them, though. Like they were a strong team that just had a bad draw. Both games were very close. Both games came down the wire. They could have easily been in a good position come Sunday. One of those teams to look out for. Ninth place, I'm going to go with Kiami's. They got the win early on over the Wolverines. But after that, just another tough draw of Gusto and then Vice City. You can't really hate on them. I mean, Wolverines, Gusto, and Vice City, 3 very, very good teams in that style. Tough weekend overall for Kiami's. They had something going early, but things just fell apart late against Gusto, and they never recovered from there. Going ahead, looking forward to the next day. Going to start out with the first game of the day in the winners bracket, Outlaws Gangrene. Don't believe I have a score I can recall. I'm trying to check that again, see if maybe there's an updated bracket with that on there. But I don't believe I had that. Outlaws got the win, or no, Outlaws got the loss. Jesus, Joey. How often do I say Outlaws got the win? It don't happen very much in my shows, it seems. No offense to any of the Outlaws at this point. I'm sure all you guys are great. Gangrene over Outlaws. That game was sort of competitive. Outlaws put up a fight, but just not enough on Gangrene. As a result, they fell into the losers bracket. Next matchup, Gusto Land and Ground Zero. Ground Zero led 19-0 in this game. I thought it was over, so I tried to cut away, thinking that, mercy rule time would run out. Gusto, I don't think they would have enough to score 3 times, and they did, but they did. So they did. Gusto puts up 3 scores in the second half, nearly rallies back and wins the game, nearly making me and Ground Zero look foolish, but Ground Zero able to pull it off despite the late rally by Gusto. Shout out to Gusto Land, though. They put up a hell of an effort. Baez auto over the Wolverines, 20-0. Tough draw for the Wolverines early in the morning against a Baez team that came red hot on Sunday, ready to go. They were in that money day mentality. You got to give it up for Baez auto. They definitely put up a clinic in that first game against the Wolverines. And then in the second game, Vice City over the OG Raiders. I can't recall the score off the top of my head. But Vice City getting the dub there. So ranking these teams in that bracket, if I would say 8th place, I'd put the OG Raiders. 7th, I'd put the Wolverines. They did a little bit better on the losers bracket on Saturday, getting through. Fuco and Shake and Bake, just not enough to get through Baez. That's always a tough draw. So I'm going to go with Raiders 8th, Wolverines 7th. Looking ahead now to the next games that were played out. Gangrene over Ground Zero. They get the win to advance to the finals. I don't remember the score off the top of my head, so I apologize. In the next game, Baez Auto took on Gusto Land. Always a good game between those two. Always a great physical game. This was no exception. Baez's defense was up 9-0 until Ray Wagner threw a pick six. Baez failed to move the ball to that. Gusto got the ball back for one more chance, fell just short. Another close battle between these two, but once again, Baez Auto prevails. They advance to the next round. Vice City took on Outlaws. That game was not very close. Vice City managed to get away with it. They get the win. Outlaws eliminated. If I were to rank Outlaws in this, because of where they fell at, I'd put them 6. This was a team that might have gotten they got help with that DQ. I don't know if they would have beaten Baez had that game played out. I'm not entirely sure they would have. Gangrene, they didn't really impress me much. Same against Vice. Like, it was a team that got there on a technicality. No hate to them. I just don't really have a good evaluation of them after this. I'm sure they're a good team. This is a competitive tournament. A lot of good teams in on this. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing like what happens the rest of the way with Outlaws. So the salt message on there kind of made me chuckle. Gusto Land will be 5th in my book. They've had a strong performance overall that weekend. I think they were a better team than the Outlaws were at the end of it. Now we head on. 4th place technically will be Vice City. They took a loss to Baez Auto. Very, very good competitive matchup. That's a game to look forward to as time goes on. I really like what this team is doing and look forward to seeing how everything progresses with all of them as time goes on. 3rd place, so that's how I get Vice City 4th place overall. This is a team that has been growing a lot, and I really like the progression they made since the last tournament I saw them. And I really hope to see more of them as time goes on. But we're like what I see out of Vice City, a lot of great potential out of that team. I saw them first at Hanover. They did work there. Really look forward to seeing them in the next tournament. Hope to see more of Vice City, honestly. That's a very interesting team going forward. Next semifinal matchup, this was to determine who would play for this was a matchup for about the play, Gangrene for the championship. Baez over Ground Zero. They get the win. Baez takes the championship again. Disappointing ending for Ground Zero. We had talked about it. This was a team that started out hot on Sunday on Gusto. And then after that, they were outscored by double the points the rest of the tournament. This is a complete downhill slide. 14 allowed to Gusto. Baez put up 27. 27-19 was the final of that game. Ground Zero's defense is collapsing as that tournament went along. Offense still had some firepower, just not enough in the end. So I'm going to go ahead and put Ground Zero 3rd. 2nd, I'm going to put Baez. They fell short to Gangrene in the championship, 12-7. Baez, like I said, what really hurt them in the tournament, in my opinion, was just falling behind the 8 ball early on with that loss to the Outlaws. This is a team that came to play. We talked about it. They had, by the end of this tournament and combining with Charm City the week prior, they had played 12 games and 2 styles that were very similar in terms of having the same size field and being able to play 3 down linemen, very physical in the trenches. Baez takes the L in the championship, though. Gangrene, give it up to them. They managed to get in here and win a championship. I know it means a lot to that organization, all the work that they've been through and put through over the years. So congratulations to Gangrene. Great performance on the weekend. 5-0. You can't ask for anything better than what Gangrene did this weekend in the Blick tournament. The girls' game, of course, that was Lancaster over York, 14-7. Very competitive game. Early on, Lancaster got up on the lead. York struck back quick and seemed like they were going to get the win, but not able to score late in the game. Lancaster, on the other hand, they were able to put it together late. Always good to see the girls get out there and play. Very physical, very strong, tightly contested matchup. Really glad that you get to see things like this at Blick. Like Blick is more of a tournament. It's a community event. It's a gathering. It's one where everybody from York and all over surrounding areas, even further out, we got a lot of out of towners coming into the tournament now. They get a chance to experience the atmosphere, the football, the food trucks, the music, everything about the tournament was popping. I really like Noonan Park, that field they use. We were there for the ACFA championship back in the fall, where Keystone State got the win over the Railroaders. It was great to come back there again, get a glimpse of the site, get a chance to enjoy some football there. It's a really awesome facility. Great time at Blick overall. No real complaints from me. I really loved it. I recommend it, though. Anybody who does want to play in a tournament next year, Blick is what I recommend. Would love to see more guys come out. Let's see more guys play. Would love to see us cover it more. We're really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen as time goes on. As mentioned, we got a very busy fall ahead. Blick was a great time. I look forward to next year. Big shout out to the organizers. I know Wayne Sweeney, you're commenting right now. Big shout out to you. Shout out to D Will for the invite, allow me to come out there. And a major shout out to the York, Pennsylvania community. They are a strong flag football community, and they come together every time they do a tournament, no matter who's operating it. They're all there for the love of the game, the love of competition, and the love for themselves. Shout out to Kimi as well. May he rest in heaven. Otherwise, nothing much to address. I know I was going to talk about some local stuff, but that doesn't really fit with this. It's just me kind of wrapping up on Blick. I was supposed to start way earlier, but I forgot I had some sort of appointment to get to. So everything's taken care of that on my end. Otherwise, really looking forward to the next event. We'll be talking about the GCFFA week 1 on Blunt Talk this week. Thursday night, tune in. Ross Collins and I will be back. We're going to try to get some coverage as well of their first week of the season. I'm working towards trying to get up there, trying to make it happen. Would love to be up there to see the Misfits and the Scorpions probably represent this area and try to come home with a championship. But there's a long ways to go. Fall flag football is here. Summer is ended. I'm looking forward to it. Gotta start wondering, though, what is going on these days? There seems like a lot of moving pieces, a lot of rumors, a lot of God knows what. But I'll tell you, we're in a great time for flag football. This is the best time, and we got more to come this fall on TBT. Till then, I'm Joey Blaze. We'll see you in a few.